Call to order. Roll call, please.
Trustee Williams? Here. Trustee Oscar Brown?
Here.
Trustee Payton?
Here.
Trustee Griffin?
Present.
Trustee Rudin? Trustee Larry Brown?
Here.
And Mayor Cutler.
Present. Please join me with the Pledge of Allegiance. Pledge of Allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Is there a motion for approval of the board meeting, of the minutes for October, let me see, I'm sorry, October 28th, 2014? Moved by Trustee Griffin. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Trustee Oscar Brown. Comment? Yes, ma'am.
I placed before all of you 2 pages of the minutes, pages 12 and 13, which corrects the votes taken for items G2D and G2E.
Sorry, clerk, let me see.
I had transposed the votes. It's 2 separate sheets.
Right, that's what I'm writing for.
You see, I had the land
You said which page?
12 and 13. I put the corrected copies into the application. What's in your agenda packet, which is these pages. Here's a copy. You don't have it.
Please, thank you. Oh, you know, here it is. I'm sorry, here it is. We got it, thank you. Okay, it's 2 pages. Okay, is there any others? Any corrections, additions? I have some, the minutes. If you'd like, Clerk Jones?
I'm sorry.
I'm not sure. I think there were several. If you want me to just give them to you, I mean, right now we have to vote on them. So I think Trustee Williams had asked a question, and I don't see it was in here. Trustee Williams, so did we have the last raise? When was our last raise?
I had said, I think it's 2009.
Right, but that wasn't in, I didn't see that in the notes. You did ask the question. Pardon?
That was incorrect.
I'm sorry. I didn't hear you.
The question that I asked,
No, that's not the question that you asked. I said, I don't see it here in the minutes that you did ask the question.
What page? What are you referring
We're page 11.
Okay.
We were discussing the raise. And on page 11, the first, second paragraph, my statement, I didn't understand why. I also made the statement that this is a volunteer position with a stipend.
Madam Mayor, some of your comments you made in your closing comments,
Yeah, but I asked the question too.
and some of the things that you said, I did not put. Well, as
Okay.
you know, I don't do verbatim minutes.
Right.
And some of the comments that were made, I did not put in the minutes. Some were kind of defamatory, so I just let those out.
Okay, well, I still would like that in there.
Okay, if you can tell me
Well,
what.
also, at the bottom, I said that I would donate, I said I would not accept the increase, that I would donate my increase. That wasn't there. That was the last one. It was motion to table. Mayor Covington stated it was approved, she would not accept the increase, and I would donate that increase,
So you want to add that you would donate?
get my increase.
Okay, that, but you did say you would not accept it.
The increase,
Right.
additional increase.
Plus, you would donate it.
How you gonna donate something that you don't accept?
Can't hear you. We
The
can't
money,
hear you.
once it's given to me, I can't stop the payroll, but once it's given to me, I will donate that portion.
I just asked, how are you gonna donate something that you don't accept?
And I stated,
Good question.
it's about the minutes right now. Yeah, that's perfect. Right, I'm just correcting the minutes. Okay, also, on page 13, Mayor questioned the Chief Bradley, would it be raised? And he stated yes.
Page 13.
13, when it came to manager Lanier, Finance Director Jones responded he did not have the actual figure at hand, but he would get the information next day, and I said, did anybody know? And I turned to the Chief of Police and asked him, and he said that, yes, it is a raise. I said, is there a raise? And he said, yes, it is. That's all my corrections. Anyone else? Roll call.
Trustee Williams?
I'll make a motion to accept the minutes with the changes.
Okay,
I'll second.
thank you. Roll call.
Trustee Williams?
Aye.
Trustee Oscar Brown?
Aye.
Trustee Payne?
Aye.
Trustee Griffin?
Votes aye with the changes.
Trustee Larry Brown?
Votes aye. Votes aye.
And Mayor Covington?
Aye, thank you. Okay. Reports of elected officials?
I got a report. I got I guess kind of a report, but also some questions. On the Kids Health Club. Trustee Payton, being for residents and a follow-up policy, how come the Kids Health Club did not follow the same procedures as the Technical Resource Center, such as having a licensed architect doing the design for this project instead of two volunteers of your choice were used? The volunteers who did your final drawings, were they licensed architect engineer? And if not, were their plans reviewed and approved by a licensed professional? Being a real estate professional, you would think that you would know that the project you wanted done and that the reason you needed a license, you needed a architectural engineer. But we state for the record that an architectural engineer is a licensed professional who is being used for the project that affects life, health, and property of the public. Why didn't this project go out for bid? Any project that costs over $5,000 per our own ordinance has to go out for bid. Please don't say that you were saving the village money.
We can't hear you, trustee.
Excuse me. Please don't say that you were saving the village money by piecemealing the work, because you were really subjecting the village to some serious liabilities. But by not having a licensed professional on record for doing this project, you chose to use an unlicensed architect engineer who volunteered for design and a retired carpenter volunteered non-licensed electrician Public Works employees who did not have credentials for the construction work. Instead of doing it right and bidding the work out to licensed professionals, again, the village responsibility to use licensed contractors for a major project such as this, which affect life, health, and property of public. How much money was spent on this project? I also would like to know who chose the contractor to do the work on Unit 34, which was the Kids Health Club, where it's presently located. Were they a licensed contractor with the village, and how much did it cost? Public Works only moved the equipment in. Did this contractor have to put up a performance bond? If not, why? I say and ask these questions because you allowed these things to happen in a way that was convenient for you, and now we are following the proper procedures and plans that we're being done by a licensed professional. It went out to bid. The village has a right to choose the lowest bid, and the contractor is going to do a performance bond and is now being held hostage by the board. Thank you.
You would like a response? Trustee?
We want the truth.
Let me just say this, Trustee. Unlike what you and Trustee Rudez, Trustee Oscar Brown Jr., Trustee Liz Williams are perpetrating on the citizens of University Park, we made the effort to try to save the village money since we didn't have any money. Now, unlike your technical resource center, we didn't spend $42,000 in architectural fees, but we did use a person to draw up the plans. And as you are well aware, the construction is not complete, and it has only simply been studied out. But unlike what you and Trustee Williams and Trustee Oscar Brown Jr. and Trustee Rudez did, was to go out and get a bid from a construction company after spending $42,000 on architectural fees, who did not even provide a letter that they had reviewed the plans and okayed them. Okay? In addition to that, if you will recall, when you first came forth with the plans and you went out to bid the Technical Resource Center, the quote came in at over $430,000. The bid that you, Trustee Rudez, Trustee Oscar Brown Jr., and Trustee Liz Williams approved was $198,000, which was almost $150,000 less than the other bid. Now, you claim that we did not use the proper craftsmen, but we did go out to bid for the electrical and the plumbing. And we did work with our consultant now to Public Works, Mr. Jerry Townsend, on having Public Works to serve as the general contractor for the job. So what was done was simply to stud out the Kids Health Club, to hire a certified electrician to come in and install the electrical, which we paid, and a certified plumber, which we bid out and selected and had him do the plumbing work. So, like what we did a number of years ago with the cable TV station, if you would recall, when the village again didn't have any funds, we worked with Mr. Robert Travis, who is an electrical engineer, who put together the plans for it. I put together the layout, he put together the plans. The village bought the materials, as they did in this case. The village bought the steel studs, and some electrical components. And we used volunteer labor under the direction of our Public Works to remodel the existing TV station, okay? So I know it's campaign time, and you're looking to try to score a few points here against me.
To the question, please.
The manner in which you're going about it, rather than saying, what can we do since we have bought the equipment to move this project forward so we can do something for our children? So our children can have a homework center that was built into this facility. So instead of a liquor store that was there before, we now have something on the verge of being completed, which simply needs drywall, flooring, and ceiling and light fixtures. Okay?
Oh, my bad.
Thank you.
Thinking out loud. Just thinking.
So rather than take the initiative and not waste the village's money on something where there is no business plan for the Technical Resource Center, there is no budget for the Technical Resource Center, there was no budget, and there is no budget for the Technical Resource Center. We don't know what the scope is, we don't know what the program is going to be, we don't even know if it's only going to be University Park residents who are going to be footing this bill, or are we going to also pay for people outside of this village? My guess is the latter, given the last two programs that we saw that were put on by Trustee Williams, which is the GED program, and the poorly attended entrepreneur program. So, if you want to score some points, do something right for the kids. Don't sit up here, don't come up here and try to gain a few political points by trying to say that we did something wrong, because we didn't so far.
Yes, you did.
Yes, you did.
Well, I didn't say
No licensed contractors who did anything. It did not go out to bid, so therefore it was wrong. You messed up. That's what it was. It didn't go out to bid, period. You had unlicensed people messed up with that project.
Mayor,
You
did
said
I
it would cost.
Yes,
You said it would cost so much, and
Excuse me, order.
it went over.
Right. Now, just for the general public, Trustee Griffin is the one that had the ordinance passed to try to respect each other, not to attack each other, not to try to interrupt and talk over each other. So the hypocrisy just continues on and on, okay? We did go out to bid. We didn't go out like you did for the Technical Resource Center, for a GC, a general contractor, to handle everything. We worked with our Public Works Department and summer employees to clean out the place and to try to get it studded. The drywall's not up. Electrical inspections can still be done because it hadn't been totally completed. The plumbing was done by a licensed plumber, and we went and got 3 bids. We took the lowest bid. It was $7,000. We made some changes, and they came back with a little bit more money than it was going to cost us. We put a pad out there. The electrician, so that we could perhaps get a grant for a backup generator so that the Kids Health Club could serve both as a warming and a cooling center for the citizens of this community. This health club was also designed, and the equipment is specified, so that our senior citizens could use this facility during the day when the kids are in school. Our teams could use it in the off season for baseball, for football, for a number of different things. Okay? But rather than focusing on what we can do for this village, we're here just trying to tear each other down. And I just feel that is so wrong, particularly since it's Thanksgiving, and this should be the season of love and giving. That's all my comments.
Any other reports?
I do.
Yes, sir, trustee, Larry Brown.
We have Valerie Williams is here from Robinson Engineering to engage us once again with the Community Block Development Grant Program that is going to be coming. The announcement, I believe, is in March.
Yes.
So could you just come and share the information that...
Good evening, everyone.
Good evening.
Happy holidays. Happy holidays. It's good to
Thank
see
you.
everyone.
Good to see you too.
It's been a few weeks or so. Congratulations on all the grant activity. This administration has done an absolutely fabulous job getting these things done. OSLAD and most recent, the DCEO road resurfacing project for $80,000. So the list goes on and on and on, and we're just adding to the pile. But we still have that one fight that you've been fighting, and we're going to continue to fight with CDBG, Community Development Block Grant Program, which is monies that come from the federal government blocked to Will County. We tried in 2011, and in 2011 we were denied because our project, although eligible, was not a priority for funding. We found a project that's priority for funding, and that project would be something in regards to storm sewer and drainage structure improvements. We tried to do something with water at one time, but unless the village had control or owned the property per se, they would not release any funding activity. So in order to do that, the fortunate and unfortunate thing for University Park is you are considered an affluent community. That's fortunate, but it's unfortunate when it comes to receiving monies that require that the community be 51% low to moderate income. Now, since 2008, there's been an economic turndown, and a lot of us have felt that kind of pressure in our pocketbooks, and I'm sure some of University Park residents has done the same. So in order to qualify, we need to do a survey, a door-to-door survey in the project area. And I know we've talked about these before, and we're looking at the same project area that we had in 2011. I think Trustee Brown, if you may want to, I have it written down here if you want me to say what that project area is, but I know that that's the same one that we're looking at this time.
Yeah, we could go.
Okay, the project area, as proposed once before, is Burnham Avenue from Thornwood Mall Drive to Hickok Avenue, Sandra Drive from Burnham Avenue to Black Hawk Drive, and Black Hawk Drive from Sandra Drive to Ames Street. I do believe there's a lot of seniors in that area. And with that said, seniors typically, they may have a big portfolio somewhere in the bank, but that little bit of Social Security income that they get, if we can get some of that information, we can still qualify. So the announcements for the grant will be sometime in March. It's due sometime in May. The surveys will need to start right away. I believe Jonna has the survey packet. It's not invasive, you know, it's not something that people will be uncomfortable with releasing information, but it really will help you start to get those CDBG funds.
And just with that, this is one of those projects, and even as I stated before, that this is not just a me project. I think, and I'm engaging everyone, my fellow board members, the residents, so that we can get these surveys and take away the excuses that the county has given us. I think we have a wonderful chance this time to get the funds we need, especially for our storm and water systems. So as soon as we can get the information from John, we'll get these surveys. Hopefully, I don't know if we'll be able to maybe get them through the mail or just have them at Village Hall, places that are convenient for the residents to fill them out. I'm sure we could probably utilize our board meetings and any other meetings that we have, to get this information so that we can gather the surveys and move forward.
I do want to share one update with you. I made a phone call before we came, and Will Whitaker from my office, he's the best researcher there is. We've been working on 2,000 numbers, and the 2010 census report has now released what the low to moderate income status is for communities village-wide or city-wide. But we don't have the block group low to mod numbers, which is what Cook County is going to request from us. So the survey still may have to be done, but I'm hoping that maybe we don't have to, but I can't advise that just yet. But we do have some of the numbers.
Okay. Thank you.
Val, I'm on that committee with Larry Walsh, CBDG grant, a community advisory committee, and it would be the best, I noticed that it's best that we kind of do them, the more the better, surveys, but we have to get them out earlier because when people come to the committee with the CBDG grant, they are looking at that survey, they're looking for that low income. But I would like to tell the people, when you do complete that, please, some people are afraid because they think it's very personal, and they, what are you doing with this? What are you going to do with this information? But it's nothing personal that will use against you, so please complete it out. And thank you for today. I'm just showing the attorney the letter. We are looking at, a grant came to me today, and I sent it out to Ernest and Val, and they jumped on it right away. There's another grant, $80,000, that's what she said, is continuously coming. These grants we're looking at to repair that road over there on Thornwood area. So that looks really good for the village. They're just asking me to be a part of one of those grants, and the other grant, well, I signed that. Gary came to my house to sign that yesterday. So thank you for all the help that you're giving us. But I express to the people more and more, please fill out those applications. Everybody's getting their money when they come before us, and it hurts me that University Park doesn't get it. So thank you a lot, and thank you, Trustee Larry Brown.
Thank you, Val. Thank you.
Any other reports? Manager's report.
Good evening, Mayor, Board of Trustees,
Good evening.
co-workers and residents. My report will be brief again tonight. The University Parkway reconstruction project, phase 1, continues to go forward. ComEd is pretty much through with the process of relocating their utility lines. The weather will stall the project, but it will pick back up in the spring, and interchanging the first leg from Central to Cicero will be completed. The village has received confirmation from the South Suburban mayors and managers that IDOT has earmarked the $4 million for the reconstruction of University Parkway just east of the railroad tracks to Crawford. The project normally would be funded 80-20, with the 20% coming from the village. For this project, Will County has agreed to give the village credit for 10%, therefore we will only pay 10% of $400,000 for this $4 million project. Construction is scheduled for the 2015-2016 fiscal year. A substantial amount of the TIP funds have been deposited in the village's special tax allocation fund. There are 11 companies scheduled to receive reimbursements. We continue to prepare these reimbursements. We've completed 8 of these reimbursements to date. The balance are due by the end of December. We're continuing our work with South Suburban mayors and managers on enterprise zone designation, which you'll see in your item on our board agenda today. The application should be submitted to the state of Illinois by January, where they'll make a decision whether or not to designate our downtown TIF and our industrial park as an enterprise zone, which would be very helpful as far as our incentive packages go, because the enterprise zone would allow the builders to build without paying sales tax on their building supplies. So it would sweeten the incentive package as we go forward, looking for more development. The auditors have completed the fieldwork for the fiscal year 2011 financial statements. The report is currently available in a draft form. They're doing their final writing, and they're going to move immediately into the 2012. I attended the National League of Cities Conference in Austin, Texas last week. The conference focused on best practices for elected and appointed officials. I concentrated on classes which included economic development and for challenge to small communities, and relationships between appointed and elected officials. Over the last couple of weeks, I also participated in several meetings with the mayor and members of the board and developers for both commercial and residential development. These talks are continuing. I'm currently drafting a memo to the new village law firm discussing open items that require immediate attention, and I will share this memo with the mayor and the board of trustees. That concludes my report.
Any questions for the manager?
I have a question for
Yes, excuse me, trustee Oscar.
well, actually more of a comment I wanted to say. I saw the salt trucks out at the beginning of the snowfall. I would like to thank you and Mr. Hunt, who's not here today, for the excellent work. And I want you to keep up the good work and make sure we have enough salt for the coming season. Thank you.
Any other trustee notes to pay?
Yeah, I've got several questions. First of all, Manager Lear, during the last board meeting, we talked about, the lights being out, and I think one of our citizens came up and said she counted 6. Well, she sent an email, I think it was Miss Bridget Simmons Franklin, and said that there were 6 lights out. You indicated that, and our Public Works Director indicated that, they were shorthanded from a manpower standpoint, but what you were looking at maybe was bringing in some outside contractors to do that. And so I was wondering what plans have been made along those lines.
We have engaged Western Electric to help us catch up on getting the lights on. They were slowed down a little over the last couple of weeks because of the weather and the snow, those sort of things, but they are helping to get this back on track.
Okay, so they have been contracted to
Yeah.
do it? Okay. Because I had another citizen to approach me at near 556 Circle Drive. They said their light has been out for over a year, and they were wondering if, we could get the light they could get the light fixed at some time. They've tried to let folks know their voicemail boxes are full. They don't return phone calls, even if they were able to leave a message. So, again, I would like to reiterate that it's important, I think, to have some kind of institutionalized or systematic way to identify problems like this and get them addressed so, citizens don't have to come to a board meeting to complain.
I'll make a note of the address and make sure the Public Works gives us some attention. What we normally do is that when the police department are out patrolling overnight, they jot down lights that they note out and report it to Public Works in the morning. Because we know it's very important that when they go in the areas that is lighted, so we always encourage them to do that at every staff meeting, and they come back with quite a bit of information. As you're aware, we had, numerous lights out, well over 100, probably closer to 200 over, and they've been out for many years. So as I said, they've been working very diligently. They've got over 100 lights. People are coming up and telling us that the lights have been out for as long as 5 years, and they're getting those lights on.
Okay. Well, that just speaks to the process that we have here, or have had here. Because if they've been out for 5 years, obviously that precedes. I requested also a number of board meetings ago, more than several, because I think I've requested it now 3 times. We passed the ordinance on the trash bin fences, and I wanted to find out, what apartment complexes, condo complexes would be impacted by that. I never received any list as to, who's going to be impacted. Did you make a note?
I'm making a note. There was actually an oversight on my part. I do recall you asking.
Okay, all right. I also have requested, I think, twice on what our trash net income or net loss is, since we're now as a village paying the trash bill. I wanted to get an idea of what the revenues versus the expenses that we're paying out, since there appeared to be a number of people who didn't pay their trash bill and haven't paid their trash bill, and so I'd like to still get that information if you could provide that.
And the finance director, he is compiling that information for you and the board. He is simply on vacation this week.
The last board meeting also, we had this debate a couple of board meetings ago where this board, members of this board, elected to give themselves a 36% salary increase over a 4-year period of time, 25% immediately, and 3% a year for 4 years, which had compounded after the 4th year was over 36%. And part of that debate, in my opinion, I raised the questions of a violation of the Open Meetings Act because though it was taped, that whole debate disappeared. And I asked that an investigation would be done. I was wondering, has that investigation been done by the village? And perhaps we need to have an outside independent party to take a look at, this whole issue of politically sensitive materials all of a sudden disappearing from information that should be telecast.
I spoke with the director, and she assured me she did not edit the tape. I did not review the tape. We can certainly view it again, but...
Can we get an independent, somebody from, I don't know, maybe the state's attorney's office or someplace to take a look at it to see if there has been some violations? Maybe they can do some forensics or something related to it, because it was just so mysterious that that part of it, when elected officials would raise their own salaries 36% in the community, such as ours, that has the highest tax rate in Will County. I think personally, I think that's wrong. So I wonder if you could take a look into that somehow for us, have something perhaps a little bit more formal, to make certain that there has been no hanky-panky going around. Is that a yes?
I seriously doubt that the state's attorney will review that tape to ask us whether or not it was edited. I will give it to our law enforcement and ask them if they have any ideas, so they can look at it, or if they have any ideas of who they can forward it to review it and see if it was in fact edited.
Okay, I appreciate that. A couple of other things. One is, I noticed that there's Dana Barnes that's serving as the Assistant Community Relations Director, and I saw an email that came through, and I think she came here one night. I was wondering, I don't recall that being in the budget, that position. Was it just created all of a sudden? And who is this Dana Barnes? Because she said that she was the Assistant Community Relations person.
I've never heard her title herself, and I thought she might have said that she was the Assistant to the Community Relations Director. Dana Barnes came to us as a summer intern where she worked a student at Governor State University, and she worked over the summer for free. When the summer ended, we continued to keep her on as we often do with summer help at a very minimum salary to keep things moving quickly, but we did create a new position.
So, was it posted? Was it posted?
No. When we post the jobs initially, when we look for interns or summer help, and we always keep one or two of them over in each department, depending on their need. We don't repost it, we keep the same person in place if they're doing a good job for us. In this case, where we didn't pay them for the first 4 months of their work, we still had funding for summer help to carry them on a little longer.
So is that why she's being paid through Davis Staffing? And if so, how much longer? Because I thought we had eliminated Davis Staffing, but I see there's $20-some thousand on our bills payable tonight. Is that what part of that is?
No, she's not being paid through Davis Staffing. She's being paid through the village payroll. We don't pay anyone through Davis Staffing. Those are older bills which we're still paying off.
So essentially, a position has been created without board approval in the budget.
The board did approve the interns. They asked for the interns. And they asked to keep the interns on.
The interns were free. Now we're talking about a position. I mean, we said as a board also that we would meet quarterly or every 4 months to try to tweak the budget. Now, we haven't even been able to get a quorum from this board to discuss issues related to the budget, and this obviously would have been one that should have been discussed. And just strange to me is that we can't pay our last attorney. We still owe them, as of October the 14th, we still owe them $226,636.58. But we're bringing people on for community relations, which the budget has what? triple, double, triple, since what we were doing before?
I'm not certain. I don't think it's triple, but I can certainly, I mean, you do have access to the budget, so.
Okay. Well, if you could look into it, I would appreciate it. The last thing is that, and you know, it's an important issue as far as I'm concerned, because as, you know, we have very conscientious board members here. I know Trustee Griffin's very conscientious because he's famous for saying, you know, I spend your money like it's my money. And we had, and I sent you an email, and you know, you say there was a response, but I never got a response that I recall, because I was looking for it, on what the selection process was for the new attorneys. As you are aware, that the last attorneys that were hired didn't even come before this board, yet what I'm looking at is from June 13th through October the 14th of January of 2013 through October of 2014, that they billed us, Ansel and Blank, $678,933.11. And that didn't even come before this board. So we said that if we were going to hire some attorneys, we would at least, you could source them, but then we would, at least the board would have some input in to interview them. Yet on the agenda tonight is approval for new attorneys with no contract. Well, there was no information outside of what was provided to us just prior to the board meeting. So could you share with us what that process was in selecting these attorneys?
I will. I did respond to your email, and in response, I also sent a response to the mayor and the entire board. So I'm curious, did anybody receive my response when Trustee Milton Payton asked me what was my selection process?
Maybe it's like the missing videotape.
I sent it. I replied to yours and added on the mayor and the rest of the board. Trustee Rudess received it.
I also received it.
Trustee.
And just for the record, I also received your email in regards to the various properties that were affected by the trash can ordinance, or trash wall ordinance.
That's magic, isn't it?
Well, actually, the way my email is set up, the response comes to everyone whenever I respond. And the process was that I would solicit candidates. The mayor and I would interview candidates. I would select the candidate and ask the board to appoint them.
So can you reiterate then for the general public what that selection process was, who was involved?
The process was that I would solicit candidates. The mayor and I would interview the candidates, and I would select one for the board to appoint. I would appoint them and ask the board to confirm them.
That's all my questions.
Any other questions, concerns? Okay. One thing I would like to say on that, I know I'm a stickler and I keep saying that we need a HR person to alleviate a lot of these issues. Because it is the point that if you do have a position available, it should be posted. I mean, it's nice that, you know, they work for free, but once a job is available, it should be posted for anyone to apply for. Because a lot of people constantly come to me and say they need a job in the village, and my memory serves me, she does not live in the village. And we have jobs available, but we're not posting them, so that's a little problem for me. Problematic. Okay, my mayor's report. My report is, I attended a webinar from the National League of Cities. I did not physically go there. There was a webinar for all the mayors, which I did participate in. I also participated in a webinar for the African American National Mayors. There was a letter comprised today for the grant, as our engineer stated, for Will County, and it's a very good one. It's an excellent park for the University Park. It will help our seniors tremendously, as she was saying. There will be a grant for that. There's one for $80,000, and there's another one came up today that I sent a letter of support on that part too with Larry Walsh. And great attendance at Governor State University. There was a response to violence there on November 18th. Ms. Yvette Brown and WGN Channel 9, and a rapper or dancer. D.L. Lowe Shuffle was the rapper, and for the international rapper was there. And then later, the trustees, I think it was trustee Milton Payton and I, that same day, we responded to a Crete-Monee High School leadership night. That was their second night of having that. It was very good as usual. And that later on in the night, I went to a tour of library. They're thinking about bringing a business here or something to help our children be better. So that's in the future. I won't go on to it because we're still waiting on partnership with Township and some other people, other partners. GSU partnership, as all the trustees were there. It was great to see the golf course coming to a written agreement. That's going to be an additional curriculum of sports for them. Dr. Meeman and I signed an MOU, Memorandum of Understanding there, and it should be televised if you haven't seen it already. I also participated in a tour of the school districts in 227, and we met with the new superintendent of that school district. And also, we had a nice, I thank the people that volunteered the other day with the turkey giveaway at, I think it's Faith Movers. And I thank all of you that participated, our trustees that were, I think were bearers for, they were at the funeral for Irma, pallbearers. And I thank our trustees for that. And I think also I represent University Park and New Hope Baptist Church. They asked for some participation there for the anniversary of the Pastor Hunt there. And that's all my report. Committee and commissions report. Reports of other officers. With said none, we'll move on to department updates. No department update.
Sorry. Good evening, Mayor, Board of Trustees. First, I do apologize for getting here late, that over 50 moment. Mayor, thank you for mentioning the turkey giveaway, and thank you and the board for allowing the concerned golfers of University Golf Club to participate in that. We actually raised over $3,300, or actually $3,300 for the raffle to give away 252 turkeys. 200 of those turkeys went to Faith Movers, and then the other 52 turkeys went to First Baptist. So again, thank you all very much for allowing us to do that.
And the only thing, a lot of the people, we need to put things on these stabilized marquee that we have, because when you do it on the digitals, by the time they read it, they're gone, their cards are gone. If we can have a stabilized advertisement on the town center, that would be the best place to post it. Like our Christmas party, Mr. Bell, when you're going to have code drive, we should put that up there. They can't read that when it's going. So we can just take some things down and rotate the announcements at the town center, because a lot of people are calling me asking where was the turkeys, where we're giving it to some of the senior citizens, for example. So I appreciate that, Mr. Lanier, if we can do that and post that up there. Thank you, sir. Appreciate it. Any others?
Yes. First, I'd like to say to the residents, happy Thanksgiving and happy holidays. Madam Mayor, board members, and other officers here. I want to again reiterate that on December 5th, we will culminate our coat drive with the coat giveaway. There are barrels now set up in this room, 90 Town Center, at Village Hall, at the golf course, or the restaurant for the golf course. I believe at Public Works and at number 8 Town Center, which is the Department of Community Relations. There are barrels set up there to receive coats for the drive. I encourage everyone to, if you can, donate lightly worn coats, gloves, caps, scarves, shoes, boots, whatever you can donate, so that residents who are in need of those things but not capable or able to buy them can be kept warm and safe this winter. We will be collecting coats up to the date of the Christmas tree lighting, which will be December 5th. I think the giveaway the coat donations will start approximately at 1 o'clock at that time on that date until 5:30. Also, the Christmas tree lighting festivities will take place on December 5th, right outside of Village Hall. The plans for the festivities are fluid, let me say. We are making plans, we're hoping that we're making plans to make it an enjoyable and festive occasion. Also, I want to mention that the Department of Community Relations is accepting and encouraging people to register their property or home for the house lighting contest. We'd like to have as many people as possible participate. Currently, I believe we have about 10 homes registered. We're requesting that you register between now and December 10th. And judging will be done between, I think, the 18th and 23rd of December. No, I have not, or the department or the village has not decided who actually will be the judges. It will be not one, but several people who will judge. I'm hoping independently, one from the other, and their judgment will be tabulated and a winner will be determined. Hopefully this can be a fun event that will bring us closer together in the form of some friendly neighborly competition in terms of lighting up our neighborhood, our village during the Christmas holidays. And with that, that's it. The tree lighting will start, I think, immediately around, the program I think starts at 5:30 on December 5th. Now there may be a lag so that people can get out who are coming in, but things will get kicked off around 5:30. Thank you.
Any others?
Where do you get the registration form for the house lighting contest?
There is no form. All you need to do is call the Department of Community Relations and either leave a message with your address or give your address to either me or Ms. Barnes, the lady who will answer the phone. The phone number for that office is 708-235-0182. Also, if you want, you can fax your address to that office. That number is 708-235-0183. You can call me on my cell phone. Just let us know you want any kind of way you want to. Put a message in the bottom. Get your address to us, you're in. There's no form, no red tape, nothing. Just let us know you're participating.
Thank you. Any others? This time, general public.
Visitors are always welcome to all public meetings of the Board of Trustees. To comment on an issue, persons wishing to speak will be called upon by the mayor during Section F, General Public. The interested party will stand, identify themselves, and make their comment. In order to give proper consideration to all items on this agenda, the mayor will limit participants in the debate and will close off protracted, repetitive, irrelevant, or abusive remarks.
Mr. Albert Shaw. And everyone has 3 minutes.
Good evening, Madam Mayor.
Good evening.
Board of Trustees.
Good evening.
My name is Albert Shaw. I'm a former village manager here in the Village of University Park. And for the past several weeks, I've been hearing that the village is in a bit of a quandary, paying its bills, raising.
Speak up, please.
Paying its bills and raising alternative revenues. In the last 6 months, I have brought a bond refinancing to the Village of University Park, which you could not take advantage of because your audits have not been brought up to date, and your AFRs have not been brought up to date.
You can hear me, sir.
Ma'am, I'm speaking as loud as I can. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Thank you.
Have her move closer.
I'm sorry?
Have her move closer.
I'm not in charge here, sir.
He's not in.
And I would urge you to do as much as you can to try to get these audits done as quickly as is humanly possible, because you're being limited in your ability to access alternative revenue forms and revenue sources. The primary reason I'm here tonight is it has been brought to my attention that the insurance pool that you are currently participating in is rather sick, if I might say. It currently has reserves that are in the $10 million range, and there are 150 communities in it. You are paying $1.2 million into this pool. I'm sorry? 1.8. Wow. There's more than I could find, but the fact is that you're paying this money into this pool, and insurance from A-rated companies would only cost you between $200,000 and $300,000. In my mind, that's an extreme amount of waste. The Erie County governmental pool is it's a trust, and you're paying contributions. You aren't paying premiums, and because of that, they don't have the same reserve requirements. But I would urge you to have your broker of record get the financials of this pool for you, so that you can make your own decision. You can see for yourself that what I'm telling you is correct. You don't want to continue down that path. This $900,000 in that you could use for other programs and to shore up your revenue stream.
Thank you. And for the record, we came in here and the audits were back. 2008, we hadn't had an audit since 2008, but we are current. We have two new auditors, and Mr. Lanier has been working with that, and they are current as of 2011, Mr. Lanier?
Yes.
10 or 11?
11. And Mayor, the item is on the agenda. I will address why we made this decision and bring our current insurance policy forward. And the insurance broker is also in the audience, and she will make any comments to defend her insurance company.
Okay, thank you. Gina Williams.
Good evening, trustees, Mayor Covington.
Good evening.
Can you hear me?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, and residents of University Park. If you've been watching the news, it's pretty disturbing to see how things are going on in Ferguson County. People are burning buildings instead of building relationships, stabbing each other in the back instead of patting them on the back, tearing each other down instead of building them up. That's kind of what happens here. There's a lot of disrespect, a lot of discord, a lot of dissatisfaction. I, as a resident, I'm tired of it. I'm tired of seeing a trustee disrespect the mayor, a woman. That's inexcusable. That should never, ever, ever happen. That can never take place. That should never take place. I'm tired of people talking when someone else is giving closing remarks, and they're making their own little snide remarks, passing notes. This is not grammar school. It's not high school. This is the real deal, people. Let's get our acts together. I'm tired of looking at cornfields and deer. I'm ready to see a bank, a post office, a grocery store, family-style restaurants. I'm tired of hearing song and dance from people like you, Trustee Griffin, who always talk about, oh, the taxpayer, the taxpayer. I gotta vote no to that because that would send our taxes to the moon. Well, we all been traveling to the moon to get goods and services. Well, we're not, what you call yourself saving in taxes, we're spending at the gas station. We need goods and services. I don't know what this technology thing that you guys are doing, but it's time to put recreation out here for our children, for our youth, so we can have a future. So I'm begging, again, pleading, telling you, please get your acts together, because I will not drink that Kool-Aid. I won't drink from that cup. The people that are saying no to our children and disrespecting our mayor, a woman, I'm saying no to that. And I'm saying yes to a future that's going to be positive. Those are my comments.
Thank you. I'll start off.
Good evening, Madam Mayor. I'm Star Lawson, to all of the board and others. I first of all have been missing in action, but I've been hearing all about it, and it ain't been good. I am so disappointed that those of you who are supposed to be representing us are still going on with your shenanigans against the mayor. Mayor, I want to personally thank you for representing University Park at the Illinois Municipal League, at the Congressional Black Caucus, at the Democratic Women for the South Suburbs, all of the GSU events, football banquet, National Association of African American Mayors. I can go on and on. You have worked for us, and you continue to work for us. And I want to say thank you. That's personally from me. Very well responded, Trustee Payton. Thank you. I can always count on you to hold your own. I thank you for your responses. Now, I want to ask if we're deleting info from the video. Thank you. I want to speak to those in the audience too, because you need to know what's going on here in your village. And when you look into this audience and you're not here, you're missing out on what is happening. You have a voice and you need to speak. Come out here and speak your voice as well. Information is being deleted from that video. Mr. Lanier, I want to ask you personally to look into that. Don't try to sweep things under the rug. These are things that need to be addressed. Since we don't get the minutes verbatim, we need to have that video. Because things are being said, they're not being written, we're not getting it from our clerk, and so therefore, we need to depend on what's coming on the cable. We need that information. We do need to have a complaint filed with the FCC, the state's attorney's office, or whoever would take a look at it. Trustees voting themselves raises while we're bouncing $48 checks. Are you serious? I couldn't even go to A's Rental and get a rental contract for the Village of University Park. But you all are getting raises? Now, only one of you, other than the mayor, have given $50 to baseball. But you're getting a raise? Try raising up the youth in this community. Try that. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to get so upset, but man, when I think about all the things you all are not doing, community relations get an assistant, but the mayor has no assistant. I don't get it. I don't understand that. The liaison can be gone for months and months and weeks at a time, while the mayor has no one assisting her, Mr. Lanier. This is under your watch, and you will be held accountable for that. Because you're sitting under the auspices of being a godly man. So you're going to be held responsible. Brother Griffin, you're not spending my money in my best interest. Because when you give yourself a raise and care nothing about what's going on in the community, and it's all about you, something is wrong with that picture. I had a lot of trust in you some time ago. That has gone by the wayside, brother. I'd like to see you pick up at the point that I met you. Like they said, I want my old Griffin back. Because you and I used to see you, understand you, and feel where you were coming from. I don't feel that anymore. All I feel is vendettas. vendettas. That needs to stop. We need to work toward a greater University Park. And as a resident here and as a volunteer, I will do my part. What do you need me to do? I'll do my part, but I need you to do your part too. Those are my comments.
Thank you. Mildred Morgan. I'll keep you track of them. Clerk, will you read this?
My name is Mildred Morgan, and I am so glad to have this opportunity to talk with the people of University Park. People, we need to get with it. There's so many people that have just left off from this podium, the last couple of them. I mean, what are they getting from your mayor? We're talking about trips, monies, and things from what I hear. With all due respect, the last meeting, there was a very uninformed person who got up praising and speaking about the bad and the ugly, which is her prerogative if she enjoys hearing empty words and lies, but they are habitual liars. They say that they want things for the children here in University Park. That's a joke, just like they are. We're talking about back in 2011 and 2012, lots of money, about $70,000, and I have the FOIA. I get information. I don't go by word of mouth. Was spent on Kids Zone. Kids Zone. Your mayor said, we got to take this $26,000 and buy this equipment or we won't be able to get it. Right now, today, that was 4 years ago. Right now, today, Kids Zone is not open to the general public. These people continue to use our children. She's been a part of the studio, but now she wants to, because it's, as Mr. Payton would say, it's now the season for election. Now she wants to holler and talk about what she want to do with the kids. Mr. Payton, same thing. He's just a lot of mouth. This man, in case you all have forgotten, I'm still suffering, me and my husband, back in 2007. This man spent an additional $4 million to our school budget for a theater. This theater is rarely used. There's 12 months out of the year. I don't think it's used once every month. We could have had a swimming pool, something that would really help a lot of the children, would give them pleasure. Could have been something more in their curriculum, to do other than a $4 million theater, which he named after himself. We also go through, back in, I'm kind of jittery and nervous, but long story short, I have to say this. It takes a village, that's true. And Oprah did not know what she was doing when she made that statement on TV. Because now we have people such as the lady that spoke last week that probably want to literally birth her baby and leave it on out for the public to take care of, because it does take a village. But here's what you've got to do. You have got to take care of your own children. You've got to raise your children. When you look at a day, out of a day, children go to school, they get up, brush your teeth, eat breakfast, go to school, come back, and then when they come back, no, don't put that thing on me. You didn't put it on them.
Everybody else. We have 3 minutes for everyone.
Long story short,
3 minutes.
it does take a village, but let's not just turn our children over and unleash them to the village for us to take care of them. We're greatly interested in the children, and we're going to be there for them. But people, please open up your eyes. We do have the good, the bad, and the ugly. Thank you.
Ms. Milton, before you get up,
Yeah, Mayor, if I may just respond to just a couple.
We don't want to hear what you got to say. You talk too much.
It's not for you, even though
It's
you
not
would
for
benefit
nobody.
from it. It's actually for the public who, I believe, as I said last board meeting, deserve the truth and the facts so they can make their own decisions. So first of all,
Habitual liar.
So first of all, the Kids Health Club is being used, has been used for the last 2
Open to
years.
the public?
Right over here for after-school programs.
Open to the public?
It's open to University Park
Open
residents.
to the public?
None debate.
It's open to the University Park, our children. Okay, so it is being used. We have a much nicer facility planned for them, should we be able to get, support from the board. The other thing that she mentioned was that, and maybe she didn't attend those dozens of meetings that I attended when I was president of the school board, where we cut the budget. We cut the budget. We didn't add to the budget. We had to cut the budget. So we had to eliminate art, physical education, music. We had to increase the class sizes, as many school districts had to do. So when you say, and I went through that twice, with all the public hearings and working with the unions and so forth, to try to come up and ease the pain on our children. Because as you know, education is probably the best vehicle for our children to move ahead and become something. Now, this whole issue about the Milton Payton Performing Arts Center, that somehow there was money spent, that I named the thing, I didn't know a thing about it.
Yeah.
I joke with people and tell them that they want to get rid of me so badly that they named the theater after me. But the school hadn't even been built when I left the board. The last school board meeting, when I was sitting in the office after the transition had taken, they elected to name the auditorium after me because they appreciated the job that I did for the community. Okay? So for you to come up here and to perpetrate and misrepresent the facts is again typical of what we see from you and the people that you support. That's my own comments.
Ms. Rosemary, thank you.
Good evening, Mayor.
Good evening.
Trustees, general public. Good evening. My name is Rosemary Nettles, and I'm here, I represent myself. I am not representing any group, any coalition, anything like that. I'm simply representing myself. First, everybody has one of these? One of these? Southwest Airlines, frequent flyers. They're free. If not, you should get one. 1-800-I-FLY-SWA. 1-800-I-FLY-SWA. And along with that, I'd like to know how many people does it take to change a light bulb? Just think about that. On October 28th of this year, the village of University Park celebrated Halloween early. At that board meeting, it was trick or treat night. That was when the Board of Trustees voted, or I should say a majority of the board, voted themselves a 25% increase in the first year, 2015. And I should say that is a stipend. This is public service. It is a stipend, not a salary. Then 3% each of the following 3 years. Oh my. Treat for them, trick for the taxpayers of University Park. And it doesn't matter that the duly elected officials also enjoy other perks such as free cell phones, very generous training allowances, In fact, if you add just maybe another 1,000 to it, you could go to University of Illinois for an entire semester and maybe an entire year over at Governor State. But generous training allowance. But anyway, this was passed. Then what happened? The portion of the recording went 1-800 missing. It was in the cloud somewhere. 1-800 missing. Once again, trick, trick, trick. Then suddenly, as quickly as it vanished, it came back. It just simply reappeared. It disappeared and it reappeared. But this was only after one trustee and resident questioned its existence. Now, I have a copy of it, and it is intact as far as I know, but it's a matter of public record. At the same meeting, and if I'm incorrect, please correct me, because I did wake up at 2:15 this morning and I'm trying to read my own writing. But I understand that village manager Lafayette Lanier was given a 1-year extension to his contract. This is a position formerly held by Mr. David Sevier, who was village manager and finance director. And this was under Mayor Al McCown. Now, Mr. Lanier has been pretty much inaccessible to many residents. He cited at one board meeting phone issues. 3 years.
We're going on 6 minutes here.
Oh, okay.
We're going on 6 minutes. When is the buzzer gonna ring?
Mrs. Moore.
When is the buzzer gonna ring? You deny me my time, but you give her and Star and anybody else their time.
There it is. It's such a pleasure to see you again, Miss Moore.
You too, Ron.
It truly is.
I missed your last minute. If you have something
No,
else.
you tell them to play by the doggone rules. You tell Mr. Potato Head to play by the rules and Satan and Drag to play by the rules.
The name calling is just on.
We're not stepping over. We're going to dance
Ms.
in front of
Neville,
the camera.
the next time, if you have any additional, put it in writing because you were interrupted, you were rudely interrupted.
Oh, yeah, I have.
So if you want to, you can bring more or you can bring it back to the next board meeting. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
You're not a problem. Mary Truss?
Good evening, everyone.
Good evening.
Wow. My name is Mary Truss. I've been here a long time in the village. And I'd like to say that a number of people came to me and said that there's nothing to do out here. And so there is a new activity going on. It's called Game Day, Game Night, or whatever. So a group of people that I know and I got together and organized a game day. And we got together and we played games. Some people brought their families. And we had a chili cook-off. And they were very happy to see it. They said they wanted more of this. It was very, it was a impromptu type of thing, so we didn't do a lot of publications on it. We just wanted to see how it would do, what would happen. Right here in the village of University Park. We had very good conversation, and nobody fought. We enjoyed our games and whatever. Ate good chili. And we also collected food because I've contacted my friends down in Mooney Township and they're giving away enormous amount of baskets for Thanksgiving. but this also puts a dent in their pantry for Christmas baskets. So this works well at my church, so I thought I'd bring it here. We know that you may not have a lot, but we ask that maybe you can share a little bit of whatever you have. So, I have a bag, little bag right here. It's very small. It's a lunch bag. And I talked to Mr. Lanier about putting a basket, one of those round baskets that you could put it in at the village hall. It goes like this. Turn me into we. If me brings this bag filled with non-perishable food items to the village of University Park, 698 Burnham Drive, together we can make a difference by just sharing what little bit we have. And you know those large drums, the little small, whatever drums you put the ice in or whatever, beer and whatever. We collected that full of non-perishable items. Now I know my time is up, but I want the board, ask one more little thing. I want to ask the board to please try and follow the agenda, because some of us do have to go to work and there's only one bathroom here. And I'd also like for you to apply that. Be fair. Some people have 6, some have 12 minutes. Okay, just be fair.
Thank you.
It's at Christmas time.
Thank you, and I appreciate that, Ms. Truss. That's why, unfortunately, we did have, I have to comment on this, we did have committee and commissions that did these functions. Unfortunately, the board removed those. So we did have them, especially this committee, and they did all of these various wonderful things. And now we have community relations, so maybe Mr. will pick that type of thing up. But again, I wish that would be one committee. If we bring back the committee, we will bring that committee back, because the village does need that so much. Thank you. Last person, Ms. Bridget Simmons Franklin.
Mayor, could I just say something?
Yes, ma'am.
I put those bags on the table so
Okay.
that they can pick them up on your way out.
Thank you. Thank you for your effort. Got it? Okay.
Greetings to the entire board up there. Just want to break the ice a little bit and say happy Thanksgiving to everybody. And I pray that everybody have a blessed holiday. And if you go out of town, I just pray for safe travels for everybody. I'm glad my husband is here, so now I don't have to speak on his behalf. But I did ask him to come up here and talk about what he's doing in the program. But together, we're doing a lot for the youth in the community. I just want to let you guys know that the University Park Lions Pee Wee team will be traveling to St. Louis this weekend. We're leaving on Friday. Please keep us in your prayers. We are in communications with the director down there to make sure that we will not be in any type of way affected by what's going on in Ferguson. We would be in West St. Louis. They are in North St. Louis. It's kind of like University Park and 127th Street. So if you guys can just keep us in your prayers, I would truly appreciate it. And so now I'm going to let my husband speak about the other initiatives that's going on at the university.
Thank you.
Greetings, Mayor, Board, viewing audience. I want to say that it's very important that we give our kids a voice. And I took a survey of about 113 kids in our village and asked them if there was another sport or another activity that they would be interested in, what would it be? And before I took the survey, I promised them that whatever it was, I would make it happen. So about 78% of these are our young black male, actually the young males, about 70% of them said that they would like a wrestling team. So I would like to say, as promised, you will have a wrestling team this year. I just got the club chartered, and we will be practicing at Creek-Money High School. Our paperwork has been taken care of, and December 8th will be our first practice. One thing that I've learned working with at-risk youth, if we give them a voice, we're able to kind of curb the chaos that goes on. So I believe by giving them a voice, I'm taking away the excuse that they don't have nothing to do, or the excuse that they want to get involved in gangs and drugs. So if I give them a voice and I bring it to life, I think that we're gonna be able to curb some of the chaos that's been going on in our village. So I just want to announce that we do have an uptown wrestling program now for our kids for this winter. So that's just something additional that we're bringing to the table for our youth. Practices will be from 5:30 to 7 at Creed-Monee High School starting December 8th. And we're asking that you come on down and register. The fee is $100 and that includes your USA Wrestling card. We are registered with the USA Wrestling Association, and it also includes your uniform. So come on now, just another opportunity to be involved and get involved in some extracurricular activities. And the ages are from 5 years old all the way up to 14.
Okay, thank you.
Yes, Mr. Franklin, very good to see that wrestling program started. Can you just give the viewing audience and the television audience just a little history on what you've done and accomplished through the district as a wrestler?
Yes.
As a wrestler, I was the first wrestler from the village of University Park to be a state champion at the age of 13. There's only been 3 wrestlers that's placed in the state at the high school since the history of Creed-Monee High School, and I'm one of those wrestlers. And I'm also the only wrestler that was a state qualifier 2 times in a row for Creed-Monee's High School.
And this time, I would like to support, offer $100 to support one of the kids.
I appreciate that.
Very good.
Mr. Franklin and Mrs. Franklin, I had a question. I spoke with your wife earlier today in reference to the Lions. I didn't know that there were still future events being held or being participated in by the Lions. Could you keep me, or can I reach you or her tomorrow?
Yes, sir. You definitely can. We actually just finished the training session right across at the Kids Health Club. We had our final training session, our walkthrough for our St. Louis tournament. Okay. And then tomorrow we have a film study that we're going to do over here at the football office. So you can reach my wife or myself.
Okay. What time is that film study?
5:30.
Beautiful. Thank you.
Mr. Franklin? You're welcome.
Mr. Franklin, here comes another one.
Anybody else? Okay, we'll go on with our, thank you all for participating. We'll continue our agenda. Discussion on unfinished business. Third reading an ordinance allowing off-street parking during limited time across sidewalks. Is there a motion?
So moved.
Moved by trustee Griffin.
Second.
Second by trustee Perez. Questions, concerns? Hearing none, roll call.
Trustee Williams. Both ayes. Trustee Oscar Brown.
Aye.
Trustee Payton.
Aye.
Trustee Griffin.
Vote aye.
Trustee Deb.
Vote aye.
Trustee Larry Brown.
Vote aye.
And Mayor Covey.
Aye.
Madam
Thank
Mayor, that is ordinance 2014-56.
Thank you. New business, appointment of the law firm Oldison and Sturt, Ltd. Is there a motion?
So moved.
Moved by trustee Griffin. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by trustee Perez. Questions? Questions, sir?
We're voting on an appointment, but there's no, particularly for the public, fee structure, because, the last time was a runaway train as far as our costs were concerned. So I was a little remiss that as part of the board package, there wasn't more there for us to take a look at.
The attorney wants to speak, but we did interview him and he agreed to hold their fees down to no greater than $155,000 per year, which is quite a savings from the prior year, plus meetings. We will have an engagement letter, which I'll share with the board when I sign.
I'm sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off.
Hello.
I didn't mean to cut you off. First of all, just to address the letter of engagement, we actually do have one that's here. And to all of the trustees and to the mayor, I'm Mr. Frazier. I just wanted to formally introduce myself.
Thank you.
I think that's appropriate to do if you're actually considering this. I'm one of the partners at Odelson and Stirk. Also, in addition to myself, I have Bert Odelson, who's the founder and president of Odelson and Stirk, and Matt Daly, who's one of our fine attorneys at our office. And just to let you know a little bit about what we do, if you don't have a problem with that, I'd like to just be able to tell you that our firm, hopefully everyone does, but I think we were a little bit short. Our firm specializes in municipal law, school law, and election law. I'm sure many of you have seen Burton Odelson on Fox News and different other stations because that's his area of expertise with respect to election law. But with respect to municipal law, which is what we're here for this evening, we represent many towns that are very close to you. Park Forest is one of the towns that we represent. In addition, Calumet Park, those are some of my specific clients. And so we do have a wealth of experience in that area. Our firm has 19 attorneys and we specialize in every single area from litigation to bond counsel, grievances, contract negotiations, anything that would require legal experience, we actually can handle. So I've been with the office personally since 2001. I'm a former assistant state's attorney from the Domestic Violence Division, so I don't scare easily. And that's the only reason I tell you that. And I love what I do. And so I think that's very important because we do something, our firm, we do something different every day. I love the work that I do. I'm very excited. All of us actually are very excited for this opportunity. We do have a letter of engagement here, as Mr. Lanier said. The fee would be $155 an hour. I mean, that's low considering the rate that we do normally charge, which ranges anywhere from $175 to $225 an hour. So if you have any questions, please feel free. We're here. You can ask us. But we're very excited about the opportunity. We think you'll be pleased with us. And open for any questions.
Welcome, welcome.
Any others?
Welcome.
From the board, any others? Okay, that is $100 cheaper than what we're paying an hour. Okay.
Sure. Yeah, I'm just wondering, there's when you said 155, I thought that would be the cap on the total amount that was being spent at 155,000 compared to the 678,000 that we spent previously. Will there be a cap on the amount of, well, let me just back up a little bit. One of the problems, as I saw before, and we also discussed this in the Finance Committee, for the University Parks Finance Committee, was that there were a number of individuals on this board that would go to the attorney and have him working on a number of different things. So, in my opinion, the village manager was not establishing what the priorities were so we could control our costs. Because as you heard me say, from this information that we have a serious cash flow problem since we haven't paid Ansel and Blank, as of the date of this information, $226,636.58. So, our interest is to ease, at least my interest is, to regulate how much money is being expended when. And so, as a matter of process, what I was interested in hoping that we could do was that we could funnel the priorities of this village only through the mayor and the village manager so that we could control some of these outrageous costs that we saw before.
Ideally, that is how it should be done. And that's for no purpose other than to make sure that there are no miscommunications or misunderstandings. But I think it's important to remember that we represent the board. And so the problem sometimes, there's always a problem with, having to tell a board member, well, we can't talk to you, or we can't answer that question, because we do represent the board. Now, like I said, ideally, everything should be funneled through the village manager. I will tell you that personally in Park Forest, I very rarely talk to the mayor. My communication is 99% with the village manager. But there have been instances where I will have a trustee that will call and ask a question, and I'm in a position where no one in our office can say no. But that's something that you as a board must really work on, as far as making sure that together you're working to funnel everything through your village manager. And that way there is no miscommunication or misunderstanding.
And that's the desire, that we talk to Mr. Lanier. If there are any questions or concerns, that's been my goal. Any questions or concerns, we challenge Mr. Lanier, Mr. Lanier runs to the clerk. But that's not been the case. The department heads, the department. So at what point we stop this bleeding? That's all. But it's not correct. Something we'll just have to discuss with Mr. Lanier and the board.
But I just, I would just ask to appreciate the position that we would be in to, we can't tell a board member or a trustee that we can't have a conversation with you.
Somebody need to do it. I mean, why are we sitting here? I can't hear nothing.
When I was a member of the school board, we had issues such as, it's a question.
Go ahead, sir.
Yeah, when I was a member of the school board, we had issues similar to this. And what we would do as a board is that we would sit down with, in that case it was the superintendent, and the board members and the appropriate staff members to try to come to an agreement as to what the process would be. And then when we started to deviate from that, it would be the board responsibility to bring us back to where the group as a whole had been agreed to process the group agreed to follow. Can we have a similar meeting so that we can perhaps discuss how this process should take place, so that when we begin to deviate from that process and the cost to our community here starts to get to be unacceptable, that we can at least hold whoever is accountable to be accountable to make certain that we manage our resources properly.
That's Mr. Lanier?
That's the attorney as well as Mr. Lanier.
Right.
Are you
We
asking?
cannot hear you all up there.
Are you asking, am I open to a meeting to?
Yes.
I work for, we would be working for the board. You want us to be at a meeting
Right.
to assist in that process?
Well, let me ask the question a little differently then. Have you ever done this kind of thing with any of the other communities or organizations that you have represented, where you work together with them to try to bring everybody on the same page so that the costs are managed, in an acceptable fashion?
Well, normally, I will be honest and say that hasn't really been a problem. That's my personal experience, because I've had, the towns that have, within themselves, they've determined how they are going to utilize our services, how they're going to communicate with our firm. Mr. Olson may have, or Mr. Daly may have a separate experience, but personally, I have not had to address that type of a situation.
Could we hear from the owners of the firm?
Mayor, if I just make briefly, I don't want to lengthen your meeting. We have Thanksgiving coming. Just to say that I have worked with.
Can you use the mic?
Thank you. I've worked with dozens and dozens of municipal boards and school boards. We currently represent 7 different school districts, high school and elementary at the present time, as well as over 12 different municipalities. Some boards work better together than others, but we have been able to bridge gaps and funnel questions and answers to a manager when we have a manager, or to the mayor when the mayor is the chief executive officer and there is no manager. So we've been successful in working very well, bringing boards together, even when there may be some political diversity amongst board members and the mayor. We're here for the community and for the purpose of trying to give you the best representation at the best price. As we discussed with the manager, we are a suburban law firm. We offer suburban prices to our clients. I don't have to have that high overhead downtown. Although we compete with downtown firms, we pride ourselves on the quality of our work, the fact that we don't try to reinvent the wheel, the fact that we've done much of what you do before. We came in with a lower dollar amount for hourly in respect for the financial burdens that the village now has, and we agreed to cap our fees outside of litigation, because you can't control litigation. We also work for numerous insurance companies and insurance pools, and we are often assigned litigation for our municipalities through the insurance companies, so again, the municipality is not burdened. So we're looking, as Ms. Frazier said, we're looking forward to working with your community. We also work with the village attorneys in Sauk Village also, as well as Park Forest, and we're the village prosecutors in Richmond Park. So we're very familiar with the community, and we look forward to working under the direction of the manager, the mayor, and the board.
Thank you. Any other questions? Roll call.
Trustee Williams? Vote aye. Trustee Oscar Brown?
Aye.
Trustee Payne?
Aye.
Trustee Griffin?
Votes aye.
Trustee Rudez?
Votes aye.
Trustee Larry Brown?
Votes aye.
And Mayor Cummings?
Aye. Thank you. Welcome aboard.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Motion to approve renewal of the village insurance policies with Illinois County's Risk Management Trust, ICRMT, for the 2014-15 policy period. Is there a motion?
So moved.
Moved by Trustee Griffin. Is there a second? Rudez. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Trustee Griffin. Question? Roll call. Oh, I'm sorry. You had a question?
Yeah, I'm just wondering, we're working with a broker, so there were no other competitive quotes related to this, because we're talking about spending over $1 million here, so. $1,061,000. Yeah. But does the broker essentially do that as part of?
Yes, sir, I was working with the broker. There were other quotes. The broker is actually in the audience, and she'll come forward and talk a little bit about our process.
Hello, my name is Faith Anderson, and I'm from Mesro Financial. Can you hear me? Okay. And your question regarding the insurance?
Yeah, I was going through some of the numbers, and so I was wondering if, when you go out, because you serve as a broker, so you would take a look at a number of different companies. Is that the process?
That is the process.
So we don't have to get, or can you get the quotes?
We get the quotes, we look at the, which has the best price. In this case, we went out to various markets and we contacted various markets to see if they would be interested in the program. And a lot of our markets declined to quote due to the loss experience.
Okay. So does that explain, because what I was looking at here was about a 11% increase?
11% increase overall.
Yeah. No.
It's a 3% increase overall. It's 11% increase on the workers' compensation.
Okay.
And the driving force for the increase is the workers' compensation losses. The loss ratio went from 79% to 109%.
Okay.
So that is the driving force. And that's what's kind of prevented other carriers from looking at the total program.
Well, just for my information, what other companies did you look at?
Well, for the workers' compensation, I approached Illinois Public Risk Fund, and they would quote it, but it would be close to $800,000 in premium that they would charge.
Okay.
I went to Safety National. I had a conversation with the underwriter, and he would have to put a high SIR, which is a self-insured retention of at least $750,000. So those are the things that we're looking at. There was a little interest in the package program. However, the pricing was a lot higher than what we received from ICRT.
Are we sharing this with anyone else? It's just University Park? We're not in
mean
partnership
sharing?
with other villages as we do some of those not
No,
pool?
this is a pool. It's just the University Park.
Okay. And the increase in compensation is due to so many cases, charges, or increase of 11%?
The increase, actually, the rates went down, the payrolls went down. However, a large part of the premium that's generated is due to your loss experience, your past loss experience, which would mean the claims.
Accidents.
Accidents, exactly.
Is there any way, okay, in looking at the company, I don't know what's going on, Mike.
Return the volume up.
Something's going on.
Thank you, trustee Brown.
And all of them, and it's all of them. Okay, great.
Sitting up
Thank
here
you.
talking to myself.
Is there any way, I know you looked at something, any way maybe we could go out of state? Looking at other companies out of state maybe?
Well, I mean, we have done that in the distant past. We've done that. But it's all going to boil down to your losses. You can't escape that. If you improve your losses, which there have been some improvements for a few years, but the bulk of the claims, it's just too overwhelming.
So you mean the lawsuits, in other words?
So, the losses.
Okay.
I have a question.
Okay, any others?
I have a question.
Sorry, trustee Larry Brown?
With this, I know you stated, again, thank you, Ms. Anderson. I know you stated that the impact has been from our workers' compensation issues. Is there a way for us to have work safety practices through an accreditation type program that would help us lower that expense?
Absolutely.
Now, do they go from calendar year? Or is it are they assessed quarterly?
You mean
I'm just saying, when they look at what the workers' compensation is, do they look at quarterly incidents or is it yearly incidents?
Well, the way the village is set up currently, we run losses every month, I believe. And so they're looked at on a monthly basis.
So if we had in effect a situation where we had an accredited work safety program, would you guys have a recommendation, or was that something we would have to?
We could recommend. We work with a variety of different loss control professionals, and they would be more than happy to help in that area.
Because I think, for these, and as a village, I think we should work on something as a board to incorporate this type of practice in our policy and procedure, so that we can take advantage of low rates. Because I know we have an exorbitant amount of claims.
The claims are older claims. Over the past 2 years, we have done extensive training. You've seen the certificates come through. We've done sexual harassment. We've done chain safety training. We have staff training with ICMRT at no cost, part of our policy cost, on a monthly basis. We have all staff training, manual staff training. We have departmental trainings. So we are taking advantage of the trainings that they offer, and our claims have gone significantly down.
Well, I hope they go lower than what they are now. Just looking to the future, because there's some kind of way that we have to have that recognized. I mean, is this recognized?
Yeah, well, unfortunately, it wouldn't be recognized this year, but next year it will be recognized, and there's a bad last year.
No, I'm with you
That's
now.
gonna fall off, so it's gonna look even better like next year.
Okay, thank you.
Trustee?
Yeah, just one quick question. I noticed on the property and casualty premium that actually went down like 5.3%. And I was wondering, is that, again, just due to experience, or was it just your negotiations?
It's a combination of experience and your exposures did go down. So it's a combination of the rate went down, your exposures went down, and your level, they're nowhere near as bad as the workers' compensation. So I fully expect that premium to go down even further.
And when you say exposures, you mean just losses or the
Your
damages?
exposures like your vehicles, your property values.
Okay, before he gets up, you want to say something right quick?
Yeah, just we work with the broker, this company, in many of our municipalities. We also do a lot of workers' compensation. In fact, Mr. Daly does most of the workers' compensation. We represent the city of Rockford, Jackson Park Hospital. We do work in the city of Chicago, Calumet City for School District 218, and we're very aggressive with our workers' compensation defense and working with the third-party administrator. I don't know who that is here. In defending these and aggressive into the false claims also. So we do a lot of that work in our office.
Great.
Look forward to that here.
Good to know. Last time the company was here, they did recommend, and I've been pressing the necessity of an HR department. If that was intact, that kind of encompassed some of those responsibilities. As far as workers' comp, when people come out, what they're doing, the process, the procedures, and I think it's very valuable to have an HR.
It's very valuable. I mean, a lot of the things that go on in other villages, it's because they either don't have a risk manager or they don't have an HR.
Right, and it would help a lot.
They would help out.
Thank you. Okay. Any other questions?
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yes, sir.
Madam Mayor, you've had, since December of 2010, you've had 63 claims totaling $788,000 that you have paid close to $5 million in contributions for.
Now, and with that said, also with him, what Mr. Shaw said earlier, with the portion that we were talking about, the money that we've saved or money that we've spent, and is that the effect of the audits? Are you would carry that same thought? If the audits were current, it would be better for us as well?
When you speak in terms of audits, what kind of audits are you talking
When you're referring to our audits for the village?
Are you talking about a workers' compensation audit or just an audit?
No, audit village budget audit. Our regular financial.
Yeah, that would help.
Right.
That would help.
Okay. All right. Thank you. Anyone else? Okay, roll call.
Trustee Williams? Both sides. Trustee Oscar Brown?
Aye.
Trustee Tate?
Aye.
Trustee Griffin?
Vote aye.
Trustee Rudette?
Vote aye.
Trustee Larry Brown?
Vote aye.
And Mayor Copeland?
Aye. First, second, and third reading ordinance establishing a municipal gas use tax and amending the code of ordinance of the Village of University Park. Is there a motion? Do we know what that? Trustee Griffin, is there a second? Just for the knowledge, if anyone wants to know, this is what the people that save us the money, the audit that was going on. I'm sorry.
Trustee Griffin asked for an explanation of it. What this represents is that, you might recall when we hired AM Audit to audit our utilities, they came back and informed us that companies who buy their gas from second parties, who don't buy their gas from NICOR, they get to avoid the municipal tax, because municipal tax is a tax on NICOR. So if you have a third-party supplier, they aren't paying the municipal tax. This ordinance would allow us to collect those taxes from third-party suppliers.
$200 or something thousand collection that we weren't getting. That's what this was coming. They discovered that we were not receiving this municipal tax money. So with this, they can get on the gas. They found money with the light. Now they found money with the gas that we haven't been getting since 1961 or 91 of over $200,000, and they're trying to retrieve that money for us now. That's what this is all about. There a second?
I'll second.
Second by Trustee Oscar. Roll call.
Questions? Yeah, I do have a, I mean, forgive me, and I'm looking at the wording of this, is municipal use, gas use tax. What comes to my mind is fuel tax. I mean, it doesn't state it, but it can imply it. It does not, and you read, I mean, when you go into the body of this, it does talk about natural gas. But I think that should be part of this, so it's not misunderstood.
Right.
I'm like, I mean, we already have there is a municipal gas tax. But this should read, I mean, in my estimation, maybe it's just me.
There are two different issues. I don't think anybody's been able to escape the municipal gas tax when you go to a gas station within the village because it comes in the form of a sales tax. But when you have industrial parks concerns, they utilize large amounts of gas to heat their facilities, and they buy this gas through a second-tier supplier, and the gas tax is only imposed on NIPOR. That's the hole that we're trying to plug with this ordinance.
But I think it should have been mentioned on here because it does not, I don't believe it's clear. I mean, you can get in and read the body of the ordinance, then yeah, you come across the words natural gas. But there's not, it should be, I mean, just like if you're reading, if you're going to read a sentence or a paragraph, it should tell you what you're looking for. And this kind of does not say natural gas, municipal or natural gas. I mean, it should have something other than what it has here.
I believe it was crafted, that verbiage by the AL auditors, attorneys, because they've had success with this in the past, with this verbiage.
And just I'll add that with the fuel tax, you'll know the fuel, you'll be able to differentiate because it will have that fuel in the body of the title for that.
I'm not comfortable with this, with these three, this sentence, this partial paragraph, that's all. I'm not comfortable with the face of this new business.
Yes, Trustee.
Yeah, first of all, I was wondering, why are we doing 3 readings? You know, we said before that, you know, we would try to, unless it was absolutely necessary or something that was pretty simple, you know, like last time at the Senior Citizens Committee, that we would take it to 3 readings. This would give an opportunity to perhaps have the new attorneys to clean up the language, at least on the covers, so that it's a lot clearer, because I went through the same thing with Trustee Larry Brown in trying to decipher what was what. And I'm glad you confirmed that really this is to plug a loophole to prevent those that are not paying the taxes, which are probably most of the residential people and some of the other users that have sources that come from out of state, are not paying the tax. Is that accurate?
That's correct. You may recall the AL auditors came and gave a presentation and went in detail as to where we were losing tax dollars. And I think they gave at least a 20, maybe 30-minute presentation. We went to about 2 board meetings, Mayor.
Yeah.
And they told us that they had had success. They showed us this ordinance and they had success in passing with other towns to plug the loophole, and that's what we will present this ordinance to our board.
But there's, and also I talked to Mr. Lanier about this too, and it's a time frame because of November and the heating bills are getting there, and if we miss it, those are tax dollars we won't be able to receive. I think that's why he was telling me that they're going to go first and third reading on it, so we can retrieve those funds.
May I make a motion?
Yes, sir. But there's a motion on the floor. So, you want to amend? I'm sorry, man. You want to make a motion to?
Yeah, I would like to make a motion to add the word utility after municipal.
Okay.
For it to read municipal utility gas use tax.
And this only pertains to natural gas, correct?
Natural, well, it's not, I mean, utility is gas we use as a utility,
Right.
not as a motor fuel.
Right, okay. Is there a second? Second by trustee Milton Payton. I'm sorry. Oh, trustee Oscar, I'm sorry, trustee Oscar. Okay.
I didn't second.
Okay, you seconded. Okay. All right. Milton Payton second. All right. Okay, roll call.
This is to amend it.
To amend the,
To amend it to add the word utility.
yes,
After gas.
you're right.
Okay, trustee Williams. Okay. Trustee Oscar Brown.
If I vote down on the amendment, I'm not voting to pass the main resolution. Would that be correct?
That's correct.
Aye.
Trustee Payton.
Aye.
Trustee Griffin.
Is this voting to pass the main resolution?
No, it isn't, just to amend it to add the word utility after gas.
Aye.
Trustee Rudez.
Votes aye on the amendment.
Trustee Larry Brown.
Both sides, Madam Clerk, that's to add utility after the word municipal.
Not gas.
Right. Correct.
Mayor?
Trustee Covington.
Mayor Covington? Aye.
Mayor Covington.
Okay, aye.
Trustee Williams. Both sides.
Mayor, may I mention that in the information that we received from our last attorney, and you know, Mr. Lanier, if you could verify this would mean that we would get new revenue of about $267,000 per year.
Yeah.
That's the,
It will be new revenue. I have not verified these figures.
Okay.
But we can get, no, it would be better for us to get figures from AM auditors who actually do the calculations.
Okay. Did he get his information from the auditors? Because he also states that they would be receiving over $400,000.
I believe that that's what they estimated during the workshop, that we would actually earn, that we may earn during this heating season.
Okay.
Okay. Roll call.
I had a question, Madam Mayor.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Sure.
I've noticed several problems with the ordinance, and I don't believe that we should support it. In regards to the $260,000, $7,000 a year in new revenue, it would precisely be that new revenue, a tax that we have never collected before. We look in the first and foremost, the biggest problem with this ordinance is it refers to Title 3, Chapter 3.8. In Section 202-1, designations, citations, and headings. All references to code, titles, chapters, and sections, or to such components of the codified ordinances unless otherwise specified. Any component code may be referred to and cited by its name, such as traffic code, and sections may be referred to and cited by the designation section, followed by the number, such as Section 202-01. There is no Title 3, Chapter 3.28 in our codified ordinances. If you want to refer to an ordinance of the Village of University Park, refer to it by section and then number. Since there is no Title 3, Chapter 3.2.8, I looked through our municipal code to find somewhere where we talked about taxes. The only places that we do talk about taxes is under Section 894, 1 through, I believe, 11. And that is our municipal utility tax. Under that section, it does define natural gas. However, the only tax that is imposed is on electricity. There's no tax imposed on gas. So what we are actually doing when we pass this ordinance is we're creating a new tax. Now, being Thanksgiving and all, I don't think this is time to impose a new tax. I really don't think we ought to be giving the auditors over $400,000 a year in regards to money for us creating a new tax that we could have just had. We can wait 3 years and pass on our own. So I don't think that we should support it. I think we ought to vote it down right now And that's it. Of course, I could also be mistaken because I only had a couple of hours to try and find exactly where we talked about taxation. And one other thing, Madam Attorney, welcome aboard. I won't hold prosecutor against you.
Okay.
And please make sure to refer to section 202-01 when we are looking at, when we're drafting these ordinances. So we have the right section number just in case it's not there.
Just a second. Comment.
Yeah,
I was just waiting. We're going to make a comment.
Yeah,
After his comment.
Yeah, just a couple things. One is, if our residents have been paying a tax on the natural gas, as Trustee Oscar Brown Jr. indicated, then is it an illegal tax and are they due a rebate? I just find it kind of hard to believe that they've been paying this tax if it wasn't part of some kind of ordinance. But you know, his point is well taken, and I was wondering if I would like to make a motion to amend this to a first read so that we can properly study it, so the attorneys can look at it, and we can investigate Trustee Oscar Brown Jr.'s trustee issues.
Excuse me.
Then I would withdraw that motion. Okay. On the recommendation of Trustee Rudez, I would like to make a motion to table this.
I'd already made.
You can't make a motion unless you're recognized.
Second. Okay, a motion to table this, Trustee?
Yes.
Okay, is there a second? Second, Trustee Rudez. Roll call.
Trustee Williams? Aye. Trustee Oscar Brown?
Aye.
Trustee Payne?
Aye.
Trustee Griffin?
Votes on the table.
Trustee Rudez?
Votes aye.
Trustee Larry Brown?
Votes aye.
And Mayor Covington?
Aye, Mr. Lanier, did Mr. Diamond, he did this, right?
Yes, we did.
Okay. Question on that one, what cost he charged for that? First, second, and third reading ordinance accepting the proposal of Terry Ford for the leasing of the 2015 Ford 450 with dump body, plow, and spreader, approval of financing of the truck through Ford credit. Is there a motion?
Make a motion to table.
Second.
Roll. Any questions? There's a motion to table this. Roll call.
Trustee Williams? Aye. Trustee Oscar Brown?
Aye.
Trustee Payne?
Aye.
Trustee Griffin?
Votes aye.
Trustee Rudez?
Votes aye to table.
Trustee Larry Brown?
Votes aye.
And Mayor Covington?
Votes aye. First, second, third reading ordinance for the establishment of an enterprise zone subject for the Enterprise Zone Act of the State of Illinois. Is there a motion?
So moved.
Is there moved by?
I say.
Okay, moved by Trustee Rudez, second by Trustee Griffin. Questions? Roll call.
Trustee Williams? Aye. Trustee Oscar Brown?
Aye, to premises made, promises kept.
Trustee Payne?
Aye.
Trustee Griffin?
Votes aye.
Trustee Rudez?
Votes aye, Madam Clerk.
Trustee Larry Brown?
Votes aye.
And Mayor Covington?
Aye. That number is resolution number?
It's ordinance 2014-57.
Thank you. Resolution of the condolence honoring the memory and contributions of the Honorable Irma A. Berry, Village Clerk, 1997 through 1993, and 1987 to 2003. Is there a motion?
So moved.
Moved by Trustee.
Second.
Just a second. Moved by Trustee Rudez, second by Trustee. Is there a second by Trustee Oscar Brown? Roll call, please.
Trustee Williams? Aye. Trustee Oscar Brown?
Aye.
Trustee Payne?
Aye.
Trustee Griffin?
Votes aye.
Trustee Rudez?
Votes aye.
Trustee Larry Brown?
I vote aye. We're going to read the resolution?
And Mayor Covington?
Would you like to? Aye. Would you read the resolution? Because it was read at the services, but it wasn't read for record. Would you like to read it this time, Clerk? Call me a trustee now.
Polls away.
Okay, it's been moved down for Trustee Payton to read it. Okay, all Yes, sir.
This is a resolution of condolence honoring the memory and contributions of the Honorable Irma A. Berry, village clerk from 1977 to 1983, and also from 1987 to 2003. Whereas Miss Irma A. Berry and her family moved to University Park, then Park 4 South, in 1972, and she immediately began to carve out her indelible mark in this community by volunteering wherever needed and getting involved in the governance of the village. And whereas Ms. Berry was a trailblazer who helped pave the way for many elected officials who came after her, she was passionate about politics, and in 1976, she made the decision to run for an elected office. She was elected village clerk in 1977, where she served 6 consecutive years, and re-elected in 1987 for another 15 years. And whereas Mrs. Berry brought with her to the office of village clerk tenacity, grace, wisdom, professionalism, and her ability to deal with people of any persuasion, and she served this community as village clerk for 21 years, where during her tenure she earned the designation of Certified Municipal Clerk through the International Institute of Municipal Clerks. And whereas Mrs. Berry touched and influenced the lives of many people, especially children, and she was an unofficial godmother for many kids in this community, always at ease with her gracious, witty, giving, and loving spirit. And whereas we know that your hearts are heavy, we know your pain, your tears and hurts are real, and while no words of ours can erase your pain, we hope you will find comfort in knowing that we share your loss. We grieve with you, we loved her, and thank you for sharing her with us. And whereas neither time nor space will allow us to chronicle all of the contributions that Mrs. Irma A. Berry made to the growth, health, and welfare of this community, we will mention that she was honored as Grand Marshal of the annual Family Fling Parade. Now therefore be it resolved by the Mayor, Clerk, Board of Trustees, staff, and citizens of the Village of University Park that our sincere and heartfelt condolences are extended to her son, Roderick C. Lawrence, and their entire family for this great loss. And be it further resolved that the Mayor, Clerk, and Board of Trustees of the Village of University Park deem it both befitting and appropriate to recognize the memory of the Honorable Irma A. Berry, Village Clerk for 21 years, by officially adopting this resolution and placing it in on file with the official records of the Village of University Park. And once duly passed, signed, and sealed, a copy is given to her son, Roderick C. Lawrence, as a token of our appreciation for her life and service to this village. Presented this 14th day of November, Vivian E. Covington, Mayor, Dorothy D. Jones, Village Clerk.
Thank you. At this time, do we ask for a moment of silence for the family? Okay. Thank you very much.
Madam Mayor,
Yes, ma'am.
if I could, just as we put on the cover sheet,
Yes.
after this is signed and all of that, I will frame it in contact. Her
Thank
son
you.
is everyone.
I appreciate it. God bless you and the family.
Thank you very much. Thank you, all of you.
Thank you. Bills payable. Attached for the approval is a listing of the general operating expenses for the Village of University Park. And the following is a grand total of everyday expenses for the last 2 weeks from November 11th, 2014 to November 25th, 2014. General operating funds, $213,456.14. Road and Bridge, $5,685.11. Town Center, $575. Golf course, $445,002.67. Motor fuel tax, $12,493.79. TIF for $1,770,495. in a total of $2,35213.92. Is there a motion?
So moved.
Moved by trustee Rudas. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by trustee Larry Brown. Questions?
Question.
Yes, sir.
Check 83,477, David Staffing. How much longer do we have to pay them? And when will be our last payment to David Staffing?
Trustee, the finance director is on vacation. I do not track that information because he does it for us. So I will certainly make note that you inquired of this.
Okay, one other question. It's not in here, but I've been asking about the past engineers or the old engineers. Remember, I think 2 meetings ago, maybe 3, I asked, there were 3 checks to the old engineers, CMT. Okay, have we paid them those 3 payments? Have those checks cleared? Excuse me.
Again, we have to refer to the finance director as whether or not the checks have actually cleared the bank.
Okay. So I can get that information tomorrow?
He'll return on Monday.
Okay, all right, thank you.
Any others?
I just want to piggyback on Trustee Griffin's with this check to David Staffing, 83477. We were told that their last payment from this village was supposed to have been, I believe, in September. Here it is, November, and I mean, are they still working for this village? I mean, are we still utilizing individuals?
We do not utilize them. I did not tell you that. Perhaps the finance director said that to you.
No, I'm saying.
I don't actually track, when we're paying somebody on an installment plan, I do not track where we are in the installment series unless it's something that really come to my attention. Because it was extraordinary or unordinary event.
So you're saying that you don't execute the contract with David Staffing?
No, there was no contract with them. We contracted with them a couple of years ago for temporary and summer help. We no longer contract with them for temporary and summer help.
So these are current, okay, well, you said that the financial record's not here, but are these back, do we know if these are back payments?
They would have, I believe they would be back payments, but we can certainly get verification.
Thank you.
Right there, it's Mark.
It's Mark. Okay, question?
Number 83522 to Old National Insurance, commercial insurance for liquor for $8,963. I was just wondering, what does that cover? Is that the golf course, or is that an umbrella insurance for the village, or what?
Drowned insurance?
Yeah, check number 83522, my fingers right, yeah, 83522.
It's drowned insurance for the golf course bar.
It's what?
It's drowned, we call it dram shot.
Dram shot.
Dram shot insurance, but liquor served at the golf course.
So that's for them to be able to serve liquor, or is that it?
Yes.
Yes.
Seems like an awful lot. I hope I'd sure like to see the numbers associated with that from a profitability standpoint. Okay, this is 83532, South Suburban Mayor's assessment for the enterprise project. Is this related to what we voted on for the enterprise zone?
Yes, it is. It's our share.
Okay. And I just want to, make mention that check number 83541, the Clorox Company, the TIF 5 distribution for them, $1,770,495. $1,770,495. And how many employees that we got, residents we got working over there?
I believe the penalty that we deducted from their payment was about $85,000. I think the penalty in the redevelopment agreement is $5,000 for every employee. The village agreed that they would hire 20% village staff, village residents. I believe they have maybe 8 or something like that. So we were able to assess a penalty of about $85,000.
Well, you know, this is the poster child for what, you know, these agreements that were done in the past that, you know, $1,700,000 and they get, you know, slapped on the wrist with, well, 85,000 or 100,000, but, you know, for not complying with the agreement, so.
Any other? Any others?
And just a correction, on the cover page it says page 4, on the cover page it says TIP 4, it's actually TIP 5.
Yeah, it does say that. Tip 4.
It's actually Tip 5. It says Tip 5 as a check description.
Right, but on the cover page, we have Tip 4. So that's a correction to be made. Clerk, B. Jones. Okay. All right. Any others? Roll call.
Trustee Williams? Aye. Trustee Oscar Brown?
Aye.
Trustee Payton?
Aye.
Trustee Griffin?
Both sides.
Trustee Rudez?
Both sides.
Trustee Larry Brown?
Both sides.
And Mayor Covington?
Aye. Okay. At this time, it's time for the trustees' comments. At this point, we want to bless everybody and we want to be very, very knowledgeable of the time, the hour. And as Ms. Truss said, we keep it limited because people like myself and others have to go to work and mine is up to 4:45. So I'd appreciate it as well. Thank you, Ms. Truss. And if we can all just keep our comments limited and respectful. Thank you. Trustee Williams.
All I want to say is happy Thanksgiving to everybody. Those are my comments.
Thank you, Trustee Williams. Trustee Oscar Brown.
All right. Thank you, everyone, for coming and joining. I will try and keep my comments as brief and respectful as possible. However, I must comment on some of the things that are going on. Before I get started, I'd like to wish everybody a happy Thanksgiving. I'd like to thank Roderick. Thank you, Roderick, for allowing me to be a pallbearer at your mother's funeral. It was indeed a great honor. Thank you. And I'd also like to thank Ms. Truss for inviting me out to game night. My heart goes out to the people of Ferguson, Missouri. I am truly sorry to the Brown family for their loss. And I will now sit here and echo the sentiments of Mr. Crump, for those who do not know, that is the Brown's family attorney, and say that the process followed in Ferguson, Missouri in regards to that prosecutor was totally unfair. I have never heard of a prosecutor seeking an indictment to fail to get one. When I was in law school, they said, you don't really have to worry about the indictment. Any prosecutor worth his salt, got a ham sandwich. Well, they failed to indict that big ham in Ferguson, Missouri. They should have got it. I never seen the like. I never heard of it. I've had about 4 clients myself. When it came to an indictment, they never invited me to the indictment. I just found out about it, said, hey, the client's indicted. There's a superseding indictment, so this information is squashed. I've never heard of anything like this. It was crazy, totally unfair. I have been watching it from the time that the announcement came at 8, and I woke up this morning so I could hear what other people were saying about it. I want to say that the system still works. It works for me. It works for my clients. I think we should all still believe in the system. But the system and the process that prosecutor in Missouri used is totally unfair and biased. And the thing that bothers me the most is that they called the police officer up and he was not subject to cross-examination. Unfair. We have trials and juries for a purpose. and it should have been used in that case. So I had to say that because it's been bothering me all day. And I want people to know that the system works. I've used it. Sometimes it doesn't work in people's favor. It didn't work in the favor this time. It was totally unfair. I object to it. And if I was in Missouri, the first thing I'd want to do is vote out that prosecutor. Point blank period. There's no way he should still be there. There's no way a prosecutor gets on TV and brags that he lost the case. I never heard of such a thing. I never heard of a prosecutor talking about inconsistent witness statements from the prosecutor. That's the defense attorney's job. I don't like it. You shouldn't like it. The people of Missouri shouldn't like it. But have faith in the system. It does work sometimes. On a more happy note, turn me into we. If a me brings this bag filled with non-perishable food items to the Village Hall of University Park at 698 Burnham Drive, together we, the people, can make a difference. No glass containers, please. These bags are available right now on the table. I would like for everyone to please pick one up. I have mine right here, Mr. Truss. I'm going to keep this one. I'm going to put some bags in there, and I'm going to go ahead and I'll drop off some perishable food items and share some holiday cheer and some good public spirit with everybody. Again, come by Village Hall, pick up a bag, fill it up with some non-perishable food items. It feels great to give things away. We gave away turkeys not too long ago. I can't remember the exact date. People were very happy to receive them. And it was more than my pleasure to give those turkeys out. And I want to thank everybody who came out to that event. Again, to everyone, I want to wish everyone a happy Thanksgiving. And there's plenty out there to be thankful for. Those are my comments. Thank you.
Thank you, Trustee Milton Payne.
Yes, thank you, Mayor. I'd just like to say I had the privilege of working with Faith Movers Church on Saturday to help hand out 400 turkeys. And I want to thank the Village of University Park, Parks and Recreation, Golf Course for all of the wonderful things that they did in making that possible. The line was a long line, and it just really hits home just this time, this period of the year when we see something like that. There's a need year-round for charity, trying to help become our brother's keeper. So, I'd like everyone to just keep that in mind during the holiday season, which is very tough. I'm sure it's going to be tough on Mr. Lawrence because of the death of Miss Berry. I have another very good friend who lost her mother, and this would be the first time, ever that they didn't spend a Thanksgiving together, and so it's a very difficult time for her as well. I also want to thank the Thornwood House Tenants Association for allowing myself, Trustee Larry Brown, Roosevelt Martin, and James Young to be with them for their Thanksgiving dinner and to allow us to help support that. It's a great time, and we really appreciated the invitation. Like Trustee Oscar Brown Jr., the Ferguson, Missouri situation that you may have heard me say before is a tragic one yesterday. But the real tragedy is that for a community that's 70% minority, they should never have been in that position. Young brothers and sisters should have gotten out there and should have been registered to vote and been involved in their community. This never should have happened. And rather than tear up their own community, they should be focusing on getting people registered and getting people involved that are going to represent their interest. People literally died for that right to vote. I've been involved in civil rights and trying to help people of color for probably most of my life, probably 2/3 of it since I was a teenager. And it's inexcusable that we don't get out and register to vote. So, and that pertains to our community here also. Even though we feel we have people who represent us, we can always do better to move our community and our kids in the right direction. Now, you heard a little earlier, Trustee Griffin tried to disparage my character, so to speak, regarding the Kids Health Club. But I would like to just give you all a little history about Trustee Griffin and his involvement with the Kids Health Club. Because, Mayor, if you recall, shortly after we were elected, and I brought this to your attention, and I also brought it to Trustee Griffin's attention about a former resident of University Park, Bernard Alsbury, who's now the mayor of Hazel Crest, who actually owned the Kids Health Club. And he had an operation to start off in Homewood and then moved it to Lincoln Mall. And Trustee Griffin, myself, and the mayor met with Mr. Alsbury and his wife to negotiate the purchase of the Kids Health Club equipment. He was as excited about it as we were, because we could see the benefits it would bring to our children. Now, for a number of reasons, we couldn't originally get the equipment put in 7080, which is now, the primary location for the technology center, the technical resource center. So it's located over here. And I remember when we had the Human Services and Special Events Committee, before it was so unceremoniously kicked to the curb by some trustees here, we had a family fun day for the children and their parents on Martin Luther King's birthday. Trustee Griffin brought his grandson in there, and he was having a ball going on the equipment. Sports wall, running relays on the equipment and so forth, running around having a good time. So now to come and criticize what we're trying to do, because we were trying to not spend resources that the village didn't have, we're doing that instead of moving forward, trying to make sure it gets done. So I think that's pretty sad, And as one of the, I think it was Star Lawson came up and she said, she'd like to see the old Griffin back. Well, so would I, because he was excited about doing something for our kids, and so was I. So when you tell the audience that it never came before this board, and even if Ms. Morgan's numbers were right, and they're not, as usual, we spent or obligated ourselves to $678,933.11 with our past attorneys, and that never came through to this board. Even though the mayor, myself, and Trustee Larry Brown insisted it at least come to the board. Never came here. Never came here. And that's a tragedy. And the residents of this village and our children, with the resources that could have been plowed back into activities for them, are lost now. So, I hope, and as Trustee Oscar Brown Jr. had indicated in his comments in a previous board meeting, that perhaps we can find something to work together on. It's only going to probably cost us another $40,000, $50,000 to finish the township. The individual, Robert Travis, who put those drawings together and is working on finalizing the drawing, does it professionally. The village spent $42,000 in architectural fees. Travis did it for $500, and I'm telling you, the plans probably are worth about $30,000. He does it professionally for an engineering firm. He's an electrical engineer. He worked with electricians and plumbers, and is in the process, and using his own personal time, even though he was traveling, to try to do something for the village, for our kids. So I hope this season we have a chance to reflect, to help not only the needy but the greedy as well. So with that, I'd like to just wish the community a happy Thanksgiving. Have a joyous time with your family. Don't eat too much, but have a happy Thanksgiving, and that's about the end of my comments.
Thank you, Trustee Griffin. Good evening, everyone. I just want to say, I have some things to say about what Trustee Payton stated. Now, everybody up here on this board have been talking about the past attorney, the attorney this, the attorney that. Well, when they, meaning Trustee Payton, the mayor, myself, and Larry Brown, we voted to bring in Tommy, or Tommy, however you pronounce his name. He never came before the board. Because I was voting with that block at the time. It never came before the board, period. Mr. Diamond, the past attorney, the little white-haired guy who used to sit with his lady sitting out, found a lot of errors in what Tommy has did. He had to undo. He said he on the air many times, these agreements have changed. These not, and I've asked Tommy, are these the same? Yes. Yes. He blatantly lied on the air. And it was a totally different agreement. Totally different. And I agree with what Oscar Brown said. I said, well, maybe I can work with the mayor. Come to find out, make a long story short, I could. Period. Miss Lawson states she wants the old Griffin. I'm still the same Griffin. I'm the only one up on this board fought for the one that she loved. Husband. Others sit up here and didn't do nothing. I did. I guess she forgot that. Yes, she did. I did. I have a chance. Right's right and wrong is wrong, period. I look at, he's talked about, Mr. Trustee Payton talked about the Kids Center. I was for that. I voted for it. They did not go out to bid on those items on that venture, on that project. It did not go out to bid. Okay, what he said for crap. He did not set it out to bid. It did not go out to bid. Okay, what he said. But then they talk about the residents. Residents don't get, you have a residence here, I believe at the last meeting, they belittled and denied the last resident. He had the lowest bid. Something smells funny. Something's always smelling funny. Maybe you need medical. I don't know. My thing is that the guy who lives in the village at the lowest bid who accepted the bid. If he can't fulfill his obligation, we go on to something else. It's just that simple. But he's a resident. And I've stated it before. He has his business license or business address downtown because most of his business is up north. Still have his home address here in University Park, but most of his work is on the north side and up in Wisconsin. It's easier for him to leave from downtown or slightly up north downtown to go there than it is to leave all the way from out here. You cried about that. Well, he don't have a University Park address. Bull crap. He has a home address. He pays taxes here in University Park.
Duh.
He has a right to put his business address anywhere he wants to. He cried about that.
And he's a real.
He cried about Diamond. Diamond paid it. We needed him at that time. He fulfilled his obligation masterfully. Now we move on. Period. Ferguson, Missouri. Hey, my heart goes out to you. I was listening to what Trustee Oscar Brown said. He's a lawyer, I'm not. But I was trying to tell him earlier, you gotta look at the process. You gotta look at what they did. They gerrymandered the jury. If you look at what they said, a bill of indictment takes 9. They had 9 white, 3 black. That's the case right there. 9 white, 3 black. That's the case right there. 3 blacks can say whatever they want. The 9 have it. There's a program on Channel 4 News, Channel 4 cable station. You all need to look at that. It's a program that it's about 8 or 9, maybe 10 PhD doctors. I think a couple of them are regular doctors, but PhD doctors. They talk about life, slavery from beginning to now. You need to look at it. And it says how the laws and everything in this country has been gerrymandered from day one against black Americans. They PhDs. A lot of stuff I knew, a lot of stuff I was very happy to learn. And it said it states, it goes on, it's just to state what it is and stuff that's happening now, and what stuff is relevant now. I think that's the part 3, I think it's 4 parts, 3 parts, 4 parts. That's a good program. You need to look at it. You need to look at it. It'll help open your eyes to a lot of stuff that's going on, even now. I want to say to Lawrence, thank you for calling me and asking me to be a pallbearer for your money. I appreciate it. Thank you. I appreciate that. 2 or 3 weeks ago, I had the pleasure of going to the library with Ms. Stroud, almost Ms. Stroud. Her son taught us or went over about Ebola. It was very enlightening. He gave a lot of good information. So I want to thank you for that. That was a good program also.
So I appreciate that.
I want to say, lastly, I want to thank Trustee Oscar Brown, Trustee Rudez, and Liz Williams. We gave out turkeys too. It's a good feeling to give back. See people who don't have, and you're able to give. I appreciate that. I'd like to thank, they call themselves concerned citizens, but everybody knows as the 2C's. I want to thank them because that was really touching that you give $3,500 to the churches and to both churches. That was beautiful. I thank you. I want to wish everyone a happy Thanksgiving, and I want to say glad to have the attorneys aboard. Thank you. Those are my comments.
Trustee Rudez?
No comments, Mayor.
Thank you. Trustee Larry Brown?
Thank you, Mayor. First, I want to say to Roderick Lawrence, God bless you and your family. Your mom was more than one of a kind. She was the kind of individual that you would want to follow, would want to be around. Her presence commanded quiet respect. Quiet respect. What was not mentioned in the resolution that I didn't know either at her funeral was that she was instrumental in naming Mission Drive. It's a little known history fact that, for us to remember. Mission Drive, which embodies her character. She was on a mission. She was on a mission, and I'm thankful for being even able to know her and talk to her. I think she made a lasting impression on me, and that I want to thank you for. As I think about the Ferguson, Missouri issue, I go back to 51 years ago. I was a 7-year-old. I watched the assassination of President Kennedy on television. Couldn't believe that day we were sent home early from school. And then we had so many things that happened in that time period in the 60s. Civil rights movement. And it didn't just start in the 60s. Civil rights movement had started long before the 60s. I remember watching on television dogs and water cannon attacks of those who were trying to march for their rights. I witnessed the signing of the Civil Rights Act by President Johnson. My mom made us watch this stuff. That's what we did. We watched. We watched the news, we watched television, we read newspapers together. 1968, we witnessed the assassination of Martin Luther King Jr. and Robert Kennedy. During those times we had, and I'm saying all these because this issue about Ferguson, Missouri brought all that stuff back. We had the burning, the looting. I do remember when we had the 1968 Democratic Convention, that it was all in the news. Mayor Daley gave the order to shoot to kill for those who were robbing and breaking into businesses. We witnessed the assassinations of Mark Hampton, Black Panther leaders, Mark Clark and Fred Hampton, I'm sorry. And all of this brought back these images of Ferguson, Missouri. And then how they're going around the country showing different aspects of those who are picketing or demonstrating against this act. And I think, and I'm saying this to say, the more things change, the more they stay the same. And someday, maybe, we'll get to that common ground. But I think in the here and now, in the age of technology, I do believe that if that officer had a body camera on him, and it's not old technology, but it's technology that is in use, and I don't know, I don't know what their financial constraints were, but and I'm hoping that our department will undertake such a get that technology, because it is the type of technology that will help guard against instances like this. And hopefully that, we all, I can tell you, the Sheriff's Department, they use body cameras now, which is I mean, it's going to help with a lot of, we have a lot of accusations that, you know, that can't be proven. So a lot of times, you know, the municipality ends up settling. Well, I think the body cameras, like anything else, if it's used properly, I think it will serve its purpose. And I'm going to try myself to assist the chief and the village in getting body cameras for our patrolmen, so that we can cut down on a lot of these issues such as that. Also, just want to take a minute. I don't mean to be long-winded, but I'm just thinking of these things that in Ferguson, Missouri, just brought back all those memories, and not good memories, not good. I want to also wish everyone, fellow board members, directors, viewing audience, most gracious Thanksgiving. And you know, Thanksgiving is not, I know we have that time of season, but I think giving thanks is a 24/7 thing, not just a one thing that you do in the year. And giving should be a 24/7, 366 type of undertaking that we all have. You don't just give the once or twice a year. It should be all the time. And that means helping any and everyone who has less than you. It is darker now. We have children that seem like they're everywhere. We have animals running across the road. Deer. I've never seen as many skunks get hit in my life, but we have skunks everywhere, it seems like. Deer, there are, if you don't notice, we do have a colony of coyote out here somewhere. There's a lot of them. I don't know where they're from, but they are around. So if you have small animals, you better make sure that they put up. Don't leave them outside. Also know that the cover of darkness is a thief's best friend. If you see something, say something. If you see any suspicious activity, call the police. Call the police. And those are my comments.
Thank you very much. Clerk T. Jones.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. Mine will truly be brief. Publicly, my condolences to Roger Lee. You know. Also, I would like to offer my condolences, she's not here, to the village clerk in Linwood. Her father passed away, so to Karen.
Yes, I am.
Just want to say our condolences to her. I'm not going to harp on Ferguson, Missouri. I think most of us are aware of how we feel, and the question still remains: has justice been served? So I would like to, for this Thanksgiving, to wish everyone a blessed and a thankful Thanksgiving. And please, don't just be blessed. Try and be a blessing. Thank you.
Thank you. My comments also will be brief. University Park, I love you. Love it, love it, love it. And I really have hopes and dreams that it will be a lot better next year. We're going into that. We need to understand that the response of violence at Governor State University was an enlightenment. To see all those young black men from the urban progress of that school, all those young men, is fabulous. It was really intriguing, and then they had a lot of deep information, and I hope that you see that on cable station Channel 4. That was covered. We'll get a copy of that. And as Judge Griffin was talking about, the history that's been on Channel 11 for so many years, and that is deep. I'm working right now with some young people, and hopefully things will come to fruition, but I'll announce that at a later time. And I wish one day that we'll see the purpose of the Special Events Committee, and that will one day come back to the village, because those people were really devoted, and they did so much for the village, and we need to keep that going. Power is everything. Know who you are and whose you are. Don't let anyone take that from you, no matter what people say, do, how they act. You know who you are. Stand up for what you know, and be loving yourself. No one can take that from you. There was a young lady at my job recently, this is the weekend before, it was the anniversary of my daughter's death, and at the same time, a very good friend of mine went into work for a callback, and she died at her desk. Life is too short. 30 years I knew her, and she died right there at her desk. We had just talked to her. She had just printed something off the system, and to look back, and she's dead. So please, people, love each other and understand the importance of life. No one can take anything from you. Don't give people power. Even if they don't like it, doesn't matter. Just throw that to the ground and it's absolutely nothing. Young people, love yourself. Be proud of who you are. Become something in your life. And again, Thanksgiving is upon us. And Roderick, I pray for you. It's going to be a hard time because that's hard when you lost your loved one at a holiday, and it's very difficult. And some people are not at all passionate or could care less about that until it happens to them. And maybe they will understand the hurt. But the young people that are going downstate are young people. I applaud them. And with the young people that are keeping on board, I thank you for that. Anything else I can do, I'll do that. And please, people, understand Thanksgiving, flip it. It's giving thanks. Be safe. Have a happy holiday. Motion for board meeting to be adjourned.
So moved.
Moved by Stereo. Trustee Rudez and second by Trustee Larry Brown. Do we have to go into executive session, sir? Thank you. Thank you all. Have a good one. Roll call. All right.